Can you game with the Intel HD 530 integrated graphics here in 2022? That's the topic for today's video. I picked some of the less demanding titles to test this with. There will be timestamps in the description below for the video you'd like to jump to. You're more than welcome to do so. There's some other links down that may interest you. And don't get the all that fun YouTube stuff on your way down that description box. I picked some of the less demanding titles today for the test that I ran. Everybody knows integrated graphics, especially on the Intel side, ain't the best for gaming. I did Rocket League. I tried Fortnite, which we'll get into. I also tried to run Borderlands 3, which you'll see the results for that in today's video. I did also run Heaven Benchmark for this video, and I also ran Valorant. These are pretty popular games still yet today, but they ain't very demanding on the GPUs. So these are the games I chose to run with. I did do my testing at 720p low, and I did my testing, or I tried to do my testing in 1080p low. So let's go ahead and we'll flip over here and we'll start running down through these numbers as I show you some game footage. Here we are, guys. We'll run Heaven Benchmark. This was at 720p low settings. The average frame rate was 43.2. The minimum was 22.3. The maximum was 81.6. 1% low frame rate was 15.2. The 1/10 low frame rate was 7.2. Alright guys, here we are with Borderlands 3, also 720p, low settings. Average frame rate was 14. The minimum frame rate was 10.4. The maximum frame rate was 16.8. The 1% low was 7.1. The 1/10% low was 3.5. Now here we go guys, 720p low as well for Valorant. We got the average frame rate of 23.9. We got the minimum frame rate of 16.9. We got the maximum frame rate of 24.9. And the 1/10% low, we got 23.6. Alright guys, here we are with Rocket League, 720p, low settings as well. You got an average frame rate of 23.9. We got a minimum frame rate of 18.9. We got the maximum frame rate of 25.7. We have the 1% low frame rate of 11.4. And we have the 1/10% low frame rate of 10.9. Alright guys, and here we are with Fortnite at 720p. For some reason, I couldn't get Fortnite to run at 720p. Every time I would try to run, try to run it 3 or 4 times. And it had a bunch of this glitching going on. And then after a few minutes of it, it would literally just freeze up the game and it ended up having a crash. I don't know why this was, but I was able to run Fortnite at 1080p, but it wouldn't let me run it at 720p for some reason. Alright guys, here's Heaven Benchmark running at 1080p low settings. The average frame rate was 22.9. The minimum frame rate was 15.7. The maximum frame rate was 38.8. 1% low frame rate was 13.3. The 1/10% frame rate was 3.5. Alright guys, here is Borderlands 3 in 1080p low settings. The average frame rate was 7.8. The minimum frame rate was 5.8. The maximum frame rate was 9.1. The 1% lows was 3.6. The 1/10% lows was 2.7. Alright guys, here we are running Rocket League at 1080p low settings. The average frame rate was 11.9. The minimum frame rate was 7. The maximum frame rate was 13.5. 1% low frame rate was 5.0. The 1/10% low frame rate was 3.7. Alright guys, here's Fortnite 1080p low settings. The average frame rate was 12.3. The minimum is 0.4. The maximum was 20.6. 1% low frame rates was 0.4. And the 1/10% low frame rates was 0.4 as well. But at least it was able to run, and I was able to benchmark it, where on 720p for some reason, the game would actually glitch out and freeze up. And it would even send a report to Fortnite that the game ended up freezing up. I'm not too sure on why this happened within Fortnite, but I couldn't get it to run at 720p. Alright guys, here is Valorant at 1080p with low settings. We have the average frame rate of 26.5. We have the minimum frame rate of 0.4. The maximum frame rate was 38.7. 1% low was 0.4. And then 1/10% low frame rate was 0.4. Alright guys, and here's the notepads that has all the benchmark numbers on it for you. If you'd like to take a moment and pause it. On the left over here you have the 720p numbers, and over here on the right you have the 1080p numbers. So can you actually game on the Intel 530 integrated graphics on the Skylake processor? By looking at the numbers today, you can't really play any kind of modern game on the Intel 530 graphics. Even at 720p, I couldn't even get the settings to where it was even close to a playable experience. But for some reason, I couldn't even get Fortnite to even run at all. It kept crashing after a few minutes of glitching out. I can't explain that. I don't know why I did it at 720p, but I could benchmark it at 1080p. But even with the 1080p numbers on Fortnite, it still wasn't a very good gaming experience. And my conclusion on this is no, you can't game any kind of games that's even reasonable. You know, these are pretty light titles, they're easy to run titles, but you can't play them at all, even at 720p on low settings. So if you're running a machine with the 530 graphics, Intel 530 graphics, you're looking at just a basic workstation. You know, you're looking at something that has a video playback to it, maybe reading emails, maybe doing a little bit of shopping, paying your bills, something like that. Just an everyday use computer. You definitely can't do no kind of gaming, even on the lesser titles for today. Even playing the games that did play at 720p today, they had a lot of stutters to them, they had a lot of glitching in them. So you can't play on the Intel Graphics 530 at any kind of reasonable gaming experience here in 2022. Don't forget there's some links down below you may want to check out on your way out of here. Don't forget to all have fun YouTube stuff. You all have a good day, and I'll see you in the next video or live stream.